I'm so glad I have a YouTube channel because else I would have no idea who to annoy with all my thoughts about K-pop. But you're here, you're a captive audience. So let's talk about Fear by 17, the title track for the new album that just dropped today. I did a music video reaction earlier and I was completely blown away, as I am quite frequently lately, but 17 in particular always do a very good job at doing that. So let's talk about the song a bit more in depth and the music video as well. And if you expect a review, today's gonna be more gushing. Today's gonna be more gushing. Okay, let's start with the song itself. Now, this song, from the title, already sets up a lot because this title is super evocative. Fear. What is fear? Fear is a complex mix of emotions. There's uncertainty, there's a sense of weakness, there's a sense of being exposed, but it's also somewhat exciting, survival instincts kicking in, there's a sense of danger to it. So you have this complex mix of emotion. And that is just what the title of the song suggests. And that is exactly what the song itself provides. They really did a great job not over-promising with the title, but instead delivering exactly what it promises. Fear is deep down an R&B EDM hybrid, but it really takes you to a million different places across the way, and it's really hard to just find one genre to place it in. It's an incredibly layered vocal arrangement, first and foremost. There's obviously 17 has a lot of vocalists, so you're gonna have a complex vocal arrangement for most of their songs. But here, that is really what is front and center in the entire song. It's that constant flow of their different voices, almost fading in and out of each other, often layered on top of each other in very complicated ways. And that really lets them all show off their unique vocal tones and ranges as well. This song has a very large vocal range. There's a lot of very high notes in there, there's some very low stuff, a lot of mid-range as well, but generally, it really lets them show off all parts of their range and of their vocal tones. There's just many distinct vocal parts that the song keeps jumping back and forth between. And the special thing is that it doesn't just switch between these different vocalists, but the song itself tends to completely change between their different sections and just keeps jumping between so many distinct parts of their own genres, of their own styles, that have a different mood to them, that have a different feeling to them, and that really represent the feeling of the title so incredibly well. It's just, in a world of K-pop fast food, Fear tries to be a gourmet platter, and I think it succeeds. There are so many different textures in the song, and they're all built around a classic 90s idol pop style chorus. But then you also get musical reminders of 80s synth pop and how the synth chords are used in the chorus. Some classic 90s, I always said that. You get some current EDM and R&B in there, you get some hip-hop, but you also get some subtle influences from rock music in the form of some distorted guitars that come in every now and then. And the tension build-up in the song and the release of that, it's just incredibly exciting, and it's so fast-paced, and it keeps going back and forth. It does all of this in under 3 minutes. And all of it is designed in favor of that tension build-up and release, of expressing that idea of fear, of that complex emotion in a pop song. And as a result, the song just makes your heart beat faster, just like Fear itself does. And it's wonderful, wonderfully produced. There's clarity to all the individual parts. It's hard to say this based off just listening to it on YouTube so far, but it also sounds like the mastering is perfectly fine, which a lot of K-pop tracks recently have had some problems with bad mastering, but even that sounds fine here, and it's just altogether an excellent song. 17 always have great title tracks, but this one might just take the cake for how many different moods and how multifaceted an emotion it evokes in just a short 3 minutes. Okay, about the video. Now, this is an incredibly complex video that is almost hyperactive, just cutting back between so many different sets and shots. So it kind of resembles the song itself in that way. But it works because the editing is absolutely spectacular. And the last couple times I talked about editing, there was some confusion in the comments. So when I say editing, I mean specifically arranging different scenes for the final product and cutting between them, choosing which scenes to use, when to cut from which to which, how to cut between them, the exact timing of the cuts. That is essentially editing. And here it is done so incredibly well. It's so seamless. It takes you for all these different shots and scenes without giving you a feeling that you're lost. Instead, it takes you for this emotional journey. There's some incredibly skillful fades used between different scenes to make it almost feel like there's no scene transition at all. It's hard to show these, like, because they happen in a split second. But a couple times you have cuts between two different shots that are digitally created in a way that they retain certain elements that fade out at a later point, that they look absolutely seamless. The work on that is just incredible, incredibly well done. Also, a couple match cuts. A match cut is when you cut from one thing, when you cut from one scene to another, but keep one thing in it matching, as it says, match cut. For instance, if you have the same person standing in the same position in both shots, but in different locations, you cut between them. That is a match cut. And also used very skillfully here as well in some points where it's barely noticeable when the backdrop suddenly changes. Very, very well done. This is another in a long line of recent K-pop videos that use different aspect ratios for different scenes. And here it adds a bit to the sense of chaos and overwhelming emotion. I'm not sure if the different aspect ratios here have particular meaning for those particular scenes, but overall in the edit of the video, they add to that sense of chaos. And another thing that adds to that is the different color spaces the different scenes and settings use here, including some very harshly lit, high contrast black and white that just hits you, especially when it's set against the remainder of the scenes, which use more typical color spaces, which use very vivid color, very well lit color in a way that is typical of a high budget K-pop music video. All members, of course, are looking incredibly attractive, as always in this music video. 17 are a very attractive group in general. But here, especially when they're all wearing those suits, that is incredible. Those are so well tailored. And that kind of silvery main dance scene outfit. Let's see if I can find that real quick here. I love that. I love that. Something about the texture of that cloth is excellent. And it reminds just a bit of like a flamenco dancers and stuff. So it has a sensuality to it. Very, very cool. The sets, absolutely wonderful. I already gushed about them when I did my reaction to all the teasers and trailers. And in particular, I love this one with that burnt out car husk in the background, held up by neon lights. That is such a gorgeous image. And it evokes destruction and beauty at the same time. It has harshness and it has softness together. And that is what this song just emphasizes so strongly. Even the choreography you have that coming out here. And I'm so excited to watch a live performance once they perform this track, and maybe a dance practice, because the choreography, as always for 17, looks incredibly hard, incredibly high intensity, and like it really brings out the feeling of the song. The individual scenes here, I've noticed, really highlight isolation. This is also an amazing shot. And here you have this super high contrast black and white here. And all the individual shots really emphasizing isolation, except for the group shots. And then towards the end, you have some shots where they're looking out towards each other, meeting each other, kind of as a resolution to that tension, to that loneliness. And generally designed also very differently, all the individual sets. You can tell they are all meant to go with the feeling of the particular verses rather than with an overall feeling. One particular style of cutaway that I really like, that comes up a couple times here, and there it is. No, is here. They cut away and it's to this vertically shot scene that is then presented 90 degrees tilted. And here, this is the first time it comes up, and here it's the best, because it happens so fast and so out of the blue that by the time your brain has gotten used to this, and the human brain doesn't need like a second or two to get used to a shift in perspective like this, it's already over. It is just so good at evoking the feeling of the song, of the complexity of fear, and so smartly done. And this could be such a simple thing, but no, it's so well used here, and I just love it. It's such an exciting effect. Aside from that, you get a lot of fractured symbolism. You have people looking into shards of mirrors. You have a lot of distance and separation symbolism. But unfortunately, because I haven't had a chance to read the lyrics for this yet, or rather there are no... It says subtitles here, but there's actually no subtitles yet. And I also haven't found a song translation yet. So I don't know how far this reflects images from the lyrics. But I just thought it was interesting to point it out. Even here, the isolation is extreme. Here, these shots emphasize distance and separation with the, where is it? I can't find it now, but like this rig coming up between whoever is standing in there. Here, I can't find these individuals, but here, isolation, very, very strongly emphasized here. And once again, also distance and separation with the backdrop here and with the chairs. Those are room separators. And one other interesting thing coming in toward the end is a kind of vampiric symbolism here. That once again, obviously the danger, fear aspect is represented in that. But you have just a few shots here. This one is notable, where you have what appears to be blood. You have shots earlier where, I forgot if it was just one or multiple of them, seem to be biting their wrists. And then one that is absolutely excellent, and I won't be able to find it here. And this is one of my favorite parts of the video. It should be in just a second here. And that is, I'm not sure if that was done with CGI trickery or just with the lighting here. This shot, where at first it's lit in red, and then in a second here. No, I can't find it. See, it's just impossible. There. No! There. Here. I don't know if that is a match cut, if there is some CGI trickery there, or if that is entirely done with lighting. This is an effect that evokes horror movies from the silent film era, where an effect that was used quite frequently is you would film, because you were filming in black and white, this wasn't an issue, you would use paint that is only visible under certain lighting, and you would change the lighting in the middle of your shot to suddenly reveal it. And that was often used for face paint, to suddenly make someone look like a skull or like a witch. And because it was filmed in black and white, you wouldn't notice that the lighting changes, but different parts of the paint would become visible because of the different lighting. And it might be done with the red... It's just impossible to find these shots. Here. It might just be that with this particular red lighting and with the paint they used, it is invisible under this lighting, and then becomes visible once the lighting gets switched. Or it might be an entirely different shot where this paint was added. But that is just so excellent. And it evokes so much, that deep red, that blood red, but also that sensual red. It evokes images of vampires, of sensuality and sexuality, and also of danger. And it's just so amazing. And it's such a short little shot. You barely even notice it. It happens so quickly. And that is a lot about this music video. You could essentially do entire videos analyzing individual frames of this music video. I'm not going to do that, because while I do have some knowledge of film language and cinematic language and image composition and all that stuff, I'm not quite the expert enough. But this video is put together so incredibly well. And I just wanted to highlight that in just a small way that I can. This song is amazing, this video is amazing, and they really play together to reinforce each other. And that is the most important thing. That art has a purpose and isn't just here to sell. That these things are not separate. These things reinforce each other. The music video exists in the service of the song, of expressing the emotions in it. And this is a wonderful example of that. And I love it. I love all about this. And that's all I have to say here. So, yeah. Excellent song, excellent video. Thanks for watching me ramble about it for however many minutes I rambled about it. But this is wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, it would be awesome if you shared it on social media. That really helps my channel out, especially if you share it on Twitter or Facebook. But even if you don't, it's just awesome that you watch this at all. I have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and a Patreon. Patreon has bonus videos on it, including, I believe right now there's 117 bonus video on there, but I'm considering, can't promise yet, doing a full album reaction for this new album, and if I do that, it will also be on my Patreon, so check that out. They're all linked in the description. Special shout out to just some of my lovely Patreon supporters, Lala, Fred, and Kim, and I'll see you guys in another video soon.